Hey Amarillo, I'm Skylar Gallup, and you're listening to Hey Amarillo, the interview podcast featuring some of the most interesting people and stories of Amarillo, Texas. We record each week at the beautiful offices of Rosenbach Contractors. They're experts in high-end design and construction, creating stunning, functional spaces through both new builds and remodels. Today's guest is Officer Matt Adams with the Amarillo Police Department, and man, his perspective and experience is really something. He was on street patrol for a while, a school resource officer for several years, works now in Amarillo's juvenile gang unit, and is about to transition to homicide. So, as you can imagine, he has a sharp take on our city. And he carries that perspective with an almost stunning amount of care, passion, and grace for people. We recorded this conversation during Police Officer Appreciation Week, and I know that I was staunchly reminded of why that appreciation is so greatly deserved for the men and women of law enforcement. Here's Matt. Corporal Matt Adams, welcome to the Hey Amarillo podcast.
Well, thanks, Skylar. Glad to be here today.
Excited to talk to you.
Good to talk to you.
Yeah, so we like to start in the beginning. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up here in Amarillo, born and raised. Spent a few years in Lubbock, Texas, before I made my way back home.
Nice. What'd you do down in Lubbock?
I went to school there at Texas Tech, and then ended up working for a uniform company as a branch management there in Lubbock.
Nice. Now, I understand that law enforcement is not your first career. So let's see, when you went to Tech, what did you study?
You know, a great question, Skylar. Thank you. While I was at Tech, I was actually in the School of Agriculture. Initially thought I was going to go into ag business. That's kind of where I thought my heart was leading me at the time. While I was there, I was working at a law firm, and one of the other associates, their spouse, was a game warden, so kind of piqued my interest in the law enforcement area. I ended up graduating Tech with an ag comm degree, so kind of like what you do here, a little bit of journalism.
Yeah.
And so I ended up listening to my dad, and I got a corporate job and went to work for corporate America, and ended up back in Lubbock, Texas real quick. Got some great experience working with a lot of people, customers and clients and stuff, and ended up feeling that really wasn't my calling.
Yeah.
And all through high school and most of college, I worked in construction, and I decided, I was young and was pretty motivated to be independent, so I moved back to Amarillo and started my own little construction company, and I would tell you that's probably work-wise, that's my first love.
There you go. So residential construction, or?
Initially I started out in residential remodeling.
Oh, cool.
And that was kind of my bread and butter. At the time, I was looking for something that was a little bit more stable. I ended up finding my way into the fire academy here at Amarillo College. And I ended up becoming a fireman. And during that time, I partnered with another guy. We specialized in pre-engineered metal buildings and structural steel. And that kind of became our bread and butter. We operated a general contracting, commercial, doing some industrial work as well. And so we kind of parlayed that for the next 13 years. And so I ended up leaving the fire department because business was, at that time pretty good, and I couldn't do both.
Right. So I want to pause. We always like to talk to people that come back home. You grew up in Amarillo, went down to Lubbock, which, like a lot of people say, Lubbock has more amenities. They've got the university, which kind of brings a lot of stuff in comparison to Amarillo. What brought you home?
I think the network that I had already built back home was going to be easier to tap into as far as getting started on my own. Mm-hmm. I really wanted to be an owner-operator of my own business, and moving to a larger city and not having that network or that census of people who are around you that know and can support you is definitely tougher. It's easier to move into a large market and go to work for another large corporation, but that really wasn't what I was looking for. I like the idea of owning and operating my own business. And so luckily I had a lot of connections here and that were able to help out with that and kind of get me up off the ground.
What did your folks do growing up? Were they farmers? You started out in ag. What was that?
No, they weren't. My dad was born in Borger, Texas, and he ended up going to Texas Tech, and they moved here. And my dad earlier did some insurance work in the farm ag industry, and ended up owning and operating his own real estate business. He started out with Adams Real Estate, and that transferred into Creative Home Brokers, and he did that until the market crashed from the savings and loan back in the 80s, and he found a great job with, back then it was called Intergas, which is today Atmos. Crazy enough, Intergas owned the building that the police department occupies now. And so we both ended up working in the same building.
That's fun.
Really kind of neat deal. He had a great career with Intergas or Atmos, and he liked people and liked sales and liked being out there and liked talking to people. And so my mom, she did a number of things. She ended up owning a cosmetic store for a little while. She also did nails and stuff. And so she was had that same drive. Her dad owned a glass business here in town, and so she had that kind of independent owner-operator drive for herself.
Yeah, so I'm seeing a little bit where that entrepreneurialism came from.
It's definitely genetic.
Yeah, and I think not everybody can see themselves owning a business unless they kind of like grew up in a shop, kind of hearing, I grew up in my dad's mechanic shop, and so I kind of grew up with the conversations around, when things are tight, and we got to pay the people first, and the liability and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think there was a little bit of rebellion. My dad had done it and seen it firsthand where it ended up, and he wanted something a little bit more predictable, which is why he went to Atmos.
Right.
And it's understandable when you're trying to raise two boys and make things happen and having that stability. Mm-hmm. And the 80s were pretty tough on the savings and loan deal, and interest rates were into the 20s. Mm-hmm. So it was a crazy time, but he made an adjustment what was probably not necessarily right for him, but he excelled at it and did real well. So pretty proud of that.
Yeah. Okay, so how long were you building homes? Or I guess not homes, the prefab stuff.
So
metal buildings, yeah.
So I'd say I was involved in that business for a little over 13 years.
And you loved it?
I loved it. So all total between, I did construction stuff in high school. Started out with a commercial contract painter here in town, and that's kind of where I got into construction. I was always in my dad's shop, tearing stuff up. I'd grab his tools and I'd dismantle things and try to build them back, and tried to build my own go-kart one time. It didn't work out so well, but at least we had a frame built. But I've always had that interest in building things, and so moving here and starting a business, and then fortunately getting to jump into the commercial world is a little tough. I had a business partner at the time, and that's kind of our transition. It was fun. I did construction for about 17 years. I still love construction. There's definitely complications with construction that I don't miss. And I do enjoy where I'm at now as much. It's definitely a challenge. It's not something that comes first nature to me, like construction. And so I find myself having to work harder, which is good. We need to be challenged. We're called to be challenged.
Yeah, that's right. So I didn't reach out to you because of your construction company. I reached out to you because you're in law enforcement, which I find very interesting.
Yep.
So first, what was that shift? Just wake up one day and said, I want to go be a cop?
Kind of,
Okay.
So, I had that interest of becoming a game warden.
Game wardens are so cool.
They are cool. Probably missed the boat there, but I'm very blessed to be where I'm at. Mm-hmm. I knew a U.S. Marshal in Lubbock from working at the law firm that I was with.
Oh, okay.
And, I talked to him briefly in the college period, and he said, with your degree and what you're doing, you're probably not going to be a good candidate right now.
Sure.
Unless you want to be a lawyer, and if you're a lawyer and accountant, you get to sit in one of our offices. You don't get to go do the cool stuff. And so I was like, this is probably not my career path. And so I just kind of put it on the back burner.
Oh, that's fun.
Just kind of in the back of my mind, not really sitting there. And great story. My wife and I had talked about, different things about our lives before we got married. And One day I met with one of my buddies named Mike, who was at the police department, and he was in training personnel. He's one of the academy sergeants. And
Here in town?
Here in town.
Okay.
Mike played football with one of my buddies from high school, so we kind of knew each other from college. And called Mike up. He and I had lunch, and we talked about it. And he's like, with your background and already been at the fire department, you kind of know what it's going to be like. And it kind of piqued my interest. And the Lord works in crazy ways. Went home that night. My wife and I were eating dinner, and she goes, I think you'd be a really good police officer. And I said, really? And she said, yes. And I said, I go, that's crazy because I had lunch today with Mike. She's like, really? And so we walked that process together.
Can I ask, I'm interested, what did your wife think it was about you that would make a good police officer? Like if you asked her.
Yeah. My wife would say that I'm very compassionate with people, very understanding, and that she knows that I had a desire to serve our community, which is probably one of the driving forces I ended up with while at the fire department.
Yeah.
I love the ability to be in front of people and to talk to people. I was also involved in the youth activities at church, and Mike had previously been a school resource officer, and so that was something that kind of played into it, is being able to be in front of the youth and being able to be a witness and hopefully bring people around. And so luckily that opportunity did play out later as a school resource officer. So I think she saw my desire to serve others, and she knew that I had a strong, rational head, and that I would be a positive influence in people's lives.
So from that day where you happened to have the conversation with your wife and lunch with Mike, how long did you just immediately jump or what? Yeah.
No, unfortunately there's a business aspect to tie up. So it took some time. We kind of walked that process. I was able to do some ride-alongs with the police department. One of my first ride-alongs, we got into a foot chase. And after the foot chase, I was like, this is cool. This is fun. And, the idea of being able to chase bad guys and put people in jail that deserve to be in jail, and really to be a support mechanism for the victims and their, really low times was kind of a driving force. And so I was kind of hooked after my ride-alongs. So we kind of walked that process. We talked it out. It's one of those, it's a pretty big career change.
It is.
In your 30s to go from construction and...
Did y'all have kids?
We did not at the time.
Okay.
And so we talked about that. While I was in construction, I averaged 60 to 80,000 miles a year in my truck traveling. We worked from Houston all the way up into Colorado, New Mexico, and Kansas. And, I'd be gone 2 or 3 weeks at a time. And then starting a family in a new marriage, and that was something that I wanted to be here in town with my family instead of traveling.
And I'm sure she did too.
Yep. And so that was a deciding factor.
Nice.
With the ups and downs in the economy, sometimes you make money and sometimes you don't, and so all those things kind of played into it. And after our discussions, it was one of those kind of a life-changing event for both of us. And I told her, it's like, if you're not 100% behind me, then there's no way this will work out. And I'm very blessed to have a wonderful wife who is 110% behind me.
Yeah.
So it is, she's been super supportive in me and my ambitions and my careers. And I like to replicate that with her as well.
Yeah.
And so with those things, I made that decision. I applied for the police department, and it takes some time, 3 to 6 months before your backgrounds are done. And then the academy is about 6 months. And so I'd ended the construction process right after December. And she told me, she's like, you've been an employer for quite a while. It's time that you need to learn how to be an employee. And I said, well, I never thought of that. And so we had some time before the academy started. And so I got a part-time job as a substitute teacher for AISD.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty neat, actually. I will tell you that I love being a sub. I love getting to go to the schools, especially the elementaries, and working with the kids.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I don't look like a typical sub. And so there's definitely some challenges, some good stories. And so it was fun to have to not set my own schedule.
Yeah.
And be accountable by somebody else. And so I got a fun little time being a substitute teacher until the academy started.
That's neat. That's good perspective. I do some work in classrooms, and elementary school classrooms are their own beast. I bet it was good training for you.
It is good training. If you can control 20 kindergartners, surely you can handle being a cop, right?
Handle some bad guys. That's
right.
So funny. Okay, so when you got through the academy, what's the first job that you have out of the academy?
So your first job is your patrol officer. So once you're out of the academy, we do have a portion of our time that is dedicated in our field training program. And so you have 4 different phases. The first phase, you just kind of observe and watch and just kind of see how our seasoned officers are taking care of things. The second phase, you do 50% of the work. And then by the last phase, you're doing it all. And the senior officer is just watching you, making sure you're doing things correctly. So APD does a really good job of getting their guys geared up pretty quick and ready to go out on their own. But you start out as a patrolman. And so it's pretty cool. It's never knowing what's coming down the pipeline, answering the radio and headed to calls. And it's a crapshoot on what's going to happen. It could be something simple as somebody stole a garden gnome, and they want to make a report for the theft, or it could be a homicide.
Yeah.
And you just never know.
Yeah.
And so it was pretty neat.
I'm curious, coming out of the academy, is this one of those jobs where, like, despite anyone's best efforts in training, you just got to get out there and do it? Or do you come out of the academy, like, kind of prepared for situations? I mean, there's so much split-second decision-making and, judgment calls. And, do you feel pretty prepared? Or is it like, all right, let's see what this is like,
My personal perspective was that when I was in the last phase of training, that I was ready to go.
Okay.
That very first day, I went and got my keys and got my car ready and signed into service, and I was a nervous wreck, absolute nervous wreck.
I'm sure.
I know, and I thought, it's just a crazy collision of forces that just arrive on top of you, and you're answering that first call, and you're like, do I really know what to do? There's a lot of second guessing going on. But as soon as you start talking to people, it just clicks. It just immediately starts clicking. And then after your first shift, of course, you're running on all the endorphins and
adrenaline totally.
That's happening right then. And you're like, wow, it's already over. Like, how did it happen? So I can't believe 10 hours went by in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So
that's so interesting. It never would have crossed my mind to think about the person on the other end of a law enforcement exchange. I've never had to do anything other than get a ticket, thankfully. But I'd never think about, I actually don't even think that you really think of them as bad as like humans, right? Who are feeling nerves, or maybe this or maybe that. It's just like, this is, I think humans naturally are very, very self-centered, right?
Oh,
and
absolutely.
It's just like, I'm in trouble. But I could never think about, this might be some guy's first day.
It is, and thankfully for me, due to my age, when I started the academy, I kind of came out looking like an old cop that's been there for a while.
Like 24 or something.
Yeah,
oh, my land. Bless her heart.
I was 38, and so I looked my age.
Okay.
And I didn't look like I was fresh out of high school, and so that did play to my advantage. But being somebody without as much life experience, I can't imagine the stress that they have when they first walk out on their own.
And fear,
Yes.
Like what role? I mean, a lot of what you guys do is scary.
That is an unfortunate aspect of what we do. And of course, we review a lot of these scenarios that have taken place in real life during the academy. Mm-hmm. And those things, and we're taught early on that we're going to win the fight. and we're going to go home to our family every night. And that's a promise you got to make to yourself. It's a promise you got to make to your family, to the community. And that always plays in the back of your mind. Even today on traffic stops, I think you do yourself a disservice if it becomes comfortable and you're not worried about those things. And so that's always in the back of your mind. And you can check social media now. There's tons of instances out there that have been recorded and unfortunately end up as training videos. But hopefully those videos save somebody else's life.
Right.
But that does play in the back of your mind. And you just never know. I've recovered runaways from other states just through traffic stops. Obviously, we've gotten guns and drugs. You can catch murderers on the run, and from no knowledge to yourself. But they have a warrant from another state.
Yeah.
So
nothing to lose.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Yeah. So if that ever loses your mind and it becomes normal, that's when it gets dangerous for yourself.
Yeah.
So you do have to always stay on the ready. You do have to be prepared. It's easier to stay in that mindset, but it's also challenging for that officer to learn how to deal with that added stress that you don't know that we already have, and come up and have a cordial conversation and be able to handle the minor traffic ticket that's probably maybe the worst thing you've experienced today. Also knowing that we just came from a baby not breathing call.
Right.
Right. So all that emotional toll does play, and it's helpful to have a bigger perspective on life, to be able to deal with those issues. So I think one of my favorite sayings that I've coined from somebody else, who said probably coined it from somebody else, is you never know what people are struggling with.
I know.
You never have a clue what is going on in their life, and luckily that's where that grace comes into play. And so you got to give people enough grace and enough compassion to figure out what their problem is and be able to deal with whatever you've got going on as well. So it's a very unique environment for sure.
Yeah, first responders are my very, very favorite people to interview, because I think an easy assumption to make would be that you guys are all really hardened, and that is never the experience that I have. That in fact, the people who see humanity on their best and worst days just have such a unique perspective and way of walking in the life, and it's the grace that you understand because you grant it daily, you see it, you walk in it, and it's always my favorite. The people that respond to those calls of whatever may be on the other side of that door you knock on, I think is one of the most valuable stories to share, because we all, if you don't have those perspectives, then whatever my problem is today is the biggest problem in the world. You know what I mean? And I think that you guys are pretty quickly reminded of some really tough stuff.
Unfortunately, but I do believe that God has called me to do this job. He's given me my life experiences for a reason, and he's given me that ability to handle these situations, and he challenges me every day, and I look forward to those challenges. I may not want them, but I look forward to being able to serve our community in that aspect.
Yeah.
And
so how long were you just a street patrolman? Because I know you've done some other really cool stuff.
You bet. I was on patrol evenings, third shift, for a little over 3 years.
And were you in a particular neighborhood, part of town? Does it work that way?
Yep. We have 4 quadrants. We have north, south, east, and west. The majority of my time was spent on the south side of town.
Nice.
So due to staffing issues, you never know where you're going to be. But for the majority of my career, it was evening south.
All right. And what years were this? Can you tell me when you were just street patrol?
I would say 2014 to 19.
Cool.
Right in there.
What'd you do after patrol?
So once I left patrol, I went to liaisons, which is our school resource program, officer program, and I was at Paladera High School. So
that's awesome. Go Dons.
Go Dons.
Gotta go Dons.
Yep. I graduated Emerald High. Didn't want to work at Emerald High.
No?
Not, I wanted to be in an area with more at-risk youth.
Okay.
Wanted to be in an area where I could have a positive impact and hopefully provide somebody with an opportunity to change their life in a different way. And luckily, that opportunity opened up at Paladuro. Spent 3.5 years there at PD, and it was an amazing experience, and I wouldn't give it up. I've got a couple of success stories of some unique individuals, and so I could see them from time to time. And I told my kids, I go, the greatest reward I have is running into you in the future and seeing how well you're doing today. That's it.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
what it was about.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a mission. Part of my career in service is to be involved in the youth and provide that outlet. And I'm very thankful for it.
Yeah, I mean, when I ran into you, you were talking to my kids' Scouts troop, and it's why I reached out because I could tell that you really, it was more than like, we catch bad guys and cops are friends and we're supposed to be a safe place. You could
Yeah.
really tell that you cared a lot about sharing with that little group of kiddos.
Yep.
The realities of being in law enforcement, kind of like how kids can view law enforcement, and also like what to do if they're in a situation. There was some really practical advice.
Sure.
That you shared with the kiddos.
And I think that's what is great about the kids is that it's so honest and raw.
Yeah.
And the thoughts are all over the place.
They were that night for
Yeah.
sure.
During my talks with kids at schools and presentations, it never goes on track. Something's always pulling somebody one direction or the other, and it's just like managing pure chaos. And it's so much fun getting to talk to the little ones, especially that are interested. When you show up in uniform, you already have 1,000 distractions that just fixate on.
Got a lot going on.
Yeah, and they want to know about every little bit of it. So it's neat.
I also think that, kids have a lot of different experiences with police officers. You know what I mean? Like,
They do.
Mine haven't had any other than speeding to, mom getting pulled over for going too fast. But, and so how do you manage that whenever you know that, that maybe the only interaction that a child has had with as a police officer could have been on a very traumatic day?
I think being honest and real, I think being factual and truthful at that moment. And of course, we don't want to tell them everything.
Age appropriately, yeah, for sure.
Some of these experiences that these kids have are watching the police officer take mom and daddy to jail.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very unfortunate,
Yeah.
and that's their only experience that they have. So I do believe in the part that we've got to be out and about and seen in a more visible light, and is seen as husbands and wives and fathers and
Yeah.
mothers, and knowing that letting these kids know that we're not robots, that we are human beings, and we're there to protect the community. And sometimes that has a negative effect on a family structure. So it makes it very important on the outreach level, such as school resource officers and officers in general, walking and working their beats, getting to know the families, and being able to spend time with the kids in the community. And I think that's where it really starts, building that faith and relationship. Trust is having a personal relationship, being relatable on these calls, regardless of how traumatic that call is. Helps out. It's extremely hard on our end to not focus on what's going on and watch what's happening around. But you do have great officers out there that are able to see a broader picture of what's happening, and that's helpful. And so hopefully trying to dismantle some of those negative attitudes, it really boils down to that individual and how realistic they are in life, and how open they are, and that genuine appearance, and talking to the child or the individuals involved, that kind of dismantles a lot.
Yeah, trust in police officers is, I think dependent upon communities and neighborhoods, and that I imagine that varies quite a bit. And over the last, I don't know, 10 years probably, has probably kind of ebbed and flowed, probably for some reasons that are earned in some situations and many that are not.
Yep.
How has that been, just like that frontline experience?
Amarillo's got a great community. We're very blessed that we've got a lot of community members from all different sides of town that believe in the police department and the mission that we're out there for. I tell people that aren't from Amarillo, I don't know that I'd be a cop somewhere else. I feel very blessed to be here in Amarillo with the community that we have and the support that we have. Knowing our department is a really good department that is not like the departments that you see on the news all the time. Every agency, every business,
Everything,
everybody has a bad egg somewhere.
Yes, of course.
Thankfully, right now, I don't know of any of our bad eggs. I'm prayerful that we don't have any. But with social media today and just the lack of professionalism in journalism today has been really eroded, in my opinion, just because I came kind of from a journalism background. We back then we used to have editors who made sure everything was true and correct and would proofread our stuff and then we could publish it and it was kind of verified. And today anybody can hop online and they got a following of 5 people and they want to just pinpoint problems.
Call themselves a reporter.
Yep. When they did nothing to earn being a reporter. And I hate that for your profession. I hate it for our profession as well.
Yeah, totally.
Because everybody tends to focus on the negative.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of positive things going on that are happening here locally and across the nation that are getting rebuilt. And unfortunately, it takes bad things to get those changes in effect. I would say that, looking through social media view and trying to overcome that as a police officer is an absolute challenge.
Totally.
And I think that's why it's extremely important for police officers and first responders to be personable, to have a real personality when they're dealing with people, genuine care and understanding, and be able to relate.
Well, and I think back to the previous point about kiddos, that is true for adults too. Like the more that they're out in their communities, that it's that many more times when someone comes across something on social media where it's like, actually, that wasn't really how that police officer that I saw at the park or at my kid's school really acted.
Yeah.
Is the stuff that counteracts that, is those real experiences where it's like, no, I don't think that's how my neighborhood police officer is,
Yeah. And, we need more individuals to speak up when they see those things.
Yes.
Not only for our profession, but for every profession out there. And unfortunately, what you hear most of the time is something very negative. And so it's great to be on Hey Amarillo podcast to be able to talk about these things, because I think it needs to be brought to light that there's a lot of positive things. And then people are good witnesses that just don't speak up.
Yeah.
And that just complicates things down the road for everybody.
My kids used to keep I don't know if they'll do it this summer. They might be getting too old, which will make me very sad. I've got 2 little boys. We've got a neighborhood full of boys, in fact, and they keep a lemonade stand. And our neighborhood cops come by for lemonade, and it is like the highlight of their day. And it's that stuff, that's really helpful in a neighborhood.
It is. And, we're driven by calls for service.
Yeah.
And we've got to respond. And staffing issues play into that portion of it. And thankfully, we're working on those issues. And hopefully our recruitment will keep up with our attrition. There is a major aspect to allowing a police officer time, not just to run from call to call to call.
Yeah.
And that
for y'all too, I am sure.
It's definitely two-sided.
Yeah.
But for the community, especially, to be able to see a police officer have time to get out of his car to play a pickup basketball game on the street, or stop at the lemonade stand, or just go hand out stickers at a park, has a true meaning and impact beyond what we're doing. There's times that you're not busy, and there's times that you're extremely busy. Evenings is always very busy. Yeah. And that's my personal experience. Other shifts are definitely busy as well.
Sure.
But when the staffing's correct, officers have time to engage in the community. And I think that's a very positive benefit long term.
If you're starting or growing a small business and need some cash, let me tell you about Amarillo Venture Capital. They are a Hey Amarillo sponsor. They're locally owned, and what makes them different is they don't just invest in businesses. They invest in people. So whether you need $5,000 or $50,000, they offer flexible, asset-based loans, often with funding in a week or less. And it's not just the money. They can connect you with their local network of legal, accounting, and business resources to help you succeed. Check them out at amarilloventurecapital.com. After your time as a resource officer at PD, what'd you do?
I left PD.
And are these choices? Are you like, I want to go do something else, or is it staff movement, or is this, getting promotions? What determines those kinds of changes in your career path as a law enforcement officer?
For my career path, the liaison program was kind of hard to get into.
Oh.
And so when I applied to it, those positions didn't come up very often.
That makes sense.
With my previous work in youth groups at the church, I knew that was an area I wanted to go into.
Yeah.
I think for me, I kind of always had like about a 5-year mark on what I want to do and change. I want to kind of keep my career fresh.
Yep.
Don't want to be stagnant in a certain spot for very long. And while I was at PD, I enjoyed it, but it was getting to a point where it was time for me to change.
Sure.
And so a spot opened up at Crockett and Monum in middle school, and so I hopped on it.
Oh my gosh!
Yep.
Bless a middle school campus.
Bless them. It is. I do believe elementary schools are a little bit more easy to take.
Yes.
I love them, those middle school kids. I met some great kids during that time, but it was not quite up to the level of speed that I wanted to work.
Okay. You were like tired of busting vape pens.
Yeah. It is a very unique time in their lives. And for the middle school teachers out there, God bless you. Thankful we got you.
Stay in it.
It is, yeah.
We need you.
We're praying for you, and praying for all the kids, the parents, and the staff as well.
Yes.
But it's unique, and it wasn't. Being a police officer is a hard balance between life and work. And every cop that's out there wants to be in the streets and chasing bad guys.
Of course.
You want to get the big arrest, and you want to put the bad guys in jail. And the middle school, unfortunately, was not a good fit for me at the time.
Sure.
And how you say you'll never go back home. Well, when I left Amarillo, I thought I'd never move back to Amarillo, and I did. And I'm blessed that those decisions happened. I told you I didn't want to go back to Amarillo High. Well, guess what? Amarillo High opened up shortly after I was at Crockett and Bonham, and so I spent another 3 years at Amarillo High. And so
you were a resource officer for a long time.
I was.
What are we, like 7 years or so?
We're 6 years at this point.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So
and you're through COVID.
Got through COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was there at Amarillo High, and then I had a great time there. Wasn't as fast paced as PD. The interactions weren't near as meaningful at Amarillo High, which is a good thing.
Right, of course.
And I love my time at Amarillo High, and made some great connections with some really cool kids. To get there, it's really like a volunteer basis. It's like who wants to go, and then if there's more than one person, then they conduct interviews.
Yeah.
Me being in the program, and luckily with my reputation, it was an easy fit.
You've got a lot of experience.
Yep. And so I was able to get that spot at Amarillo High. They're not necessarily promotions. Job-wise, we work off of rank system.
Okay.
Officers and corporals are kind of interchangeable as far as level of work. That's changed now with our new chief. And so our new chief has opened up a lot of detective units to officers and corporals. And so that's kind of how it's played out now. So our specialized units are filled with that, whereas our sergeants are becoming supervisors.
Okay.
And those specialized units are CID and in patrol. And so it's opened up doors that weren't there before, which is, the two things cops hate most is not changing anything and then changing something. And so it's always a balance of how to get the ball moving forward in the right direction.
Yeah.
And so promotion-wise, or you have to be 2 years at that rank before you're able to promote to the next rank. And so that's how promotion pay works. But as far as jobs, it's if there's an opening in a specialized unit, you have to apply for it, and then you have to go through some oral board interviews.
Yeah.
And so that's how I got into liaisons. And then once I left Amarillo High, they created a new position as a gang investigator. I had some work with gangs at the schools, and so I had some knowledge there, and they opened that up, and so I left Amarillo High to become our gang investigator, which they housed me in the juvenile unit. And our juvenile unit was short investigators, and so I took on that role as well. So I got to work with our gang problem here in town, and I also got to work with our juvenile offenders, which was kind of natural since I came out of the schools. So that's how I ended up where I'm at today.
So that's what you're currently doing, is working kind of juvenile gang issues.
That's it.
Cool.
However, on the 28th, I'm actually moving to homicide as a detective.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So talk to me about what are the realities of like gang activity in Amarillo? I think it's so hard for people who don't know to know, like, is it bad? Is it not bad? And also, I think what people do know is there's a terrible gun problem with our youth in Amarillo.
Huge gun problem.
Been, this year has been
Yep.
tragic and so awful. So, you've been in it. What's going on,
I tell people that, like, you live in a bubble. You got a great bubble to live in. We've got a great community here, and you guys pay us to worry about your problems, and that's a good thing, because that's what we're here for, is to take care of the bad stuff. Also, with that is the stipulation, you kind of still need to be situationally aware of what's going on. You do need to be plugged into your community and understanding that there are issues out there that you may not know about. And so that leads into gangs. Amarillo's had gangs for a long time.
Okay.
We've definitely seen an increase in gang culture over the last probably 10 years,
Okay.
where recruitment is really starting about in 6th grade.
Jesus.
Yes.
Ooh.
And so our juvenile gangs are called hybrid gangs, and it's a loosely fitting organization with no formal structure, whereas like when people of our age think of gangs, we think of the Crips and the Bloods.
Right.
And
With neighborhood, like territories,
Yeah.
and this hybrid that's referring to like online as well.
absolutely.
Correct? Yeah.
So, the good old gang days where you had a block and you protected that block and you sold dope from that block and you did your other hustles out there and you protected that. And
Yeah.
that's actually moved to digital. Everything is social media now.
Jeez.
Uh,
That must
you
be
know,
so much harder.
It's definitely a
on.
unique feature in today's environment. And so, we do have our juvenile gangs that represent neighborhoods. They still have physical locations,
Okay.
but most of the trash talking and drama, as far as tagging, is done through digital media, Instagram and Snapchat and Telegram and a handful of other ones. The trend now is to make diss rap videos and music, trap music as well, and where they go into somebody else's opposing neighborhood and make a video dissing that other person or group of individuals. Rap culture is really huge, and they epitomize that lifestyle. It's fast money and it's fast cars and fast lifestyle and brand new, fresh, clean clothes, and so it's very alluring to at-risk individuals who are looking for a family structure that's not
Belonging.
provided
Yeah.
by their own family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When does it turn violent though? Like when does this go from, what seems silly to me, but
Yeah.
who am I to judge, from, making diss tracks
Yep.
to the violence and the tragedy that we're experiencing?
It's all about respect, and it's also about showing lack of respect. And I think looking back in the times that we're in our youth, that when somebody was very disrespectful to you, You guys had words, and we went out to the park and we fought it out.
Right.
And then when it was done, it was kind of done. It was kind of a done issue. Sometimes it wasn't, and there might be an additional fight or two after the fact, but it wasn't as violent as it is now. I think with the implementation of social media, that ability to harass or annoy somebody is 24/7
Yeah,
now.
it keeps going.
It's always there. The phone is such a dopamine high for these kids that they're constantly attached to it, and they never leave it alone. And so it's really hard to tell a person in front of somebody that you really dislike them. But it's so easy to get on a social media platform and tell them the same thing. And I think that, with their frontal lobes not being developed and running on high emotions and
that makes a lot of sense, in fact, that it would be easier to escalate a conflict between two young people when it's not like in front of each other in the cafeteria, but you're each on your phones, and that makes a lot of sense.
So it's a boiling pot. It's a pressure cooker. They're in that constant negative environment. They're exchanging negative comments both ways, and it builds that tension. I'm not blaming any one platform or any type of video game about it, but violence on TV has escalated. Violence in the movie has escalated. The amount of gore that we see has escalated. The overreactions to normal life events have escalated. And it's brought about in film. It's brought about in music, and that's what they think the world is.
It's normalized.
It's just very normalized. And a lot of people don't want to get their butt whooped. I don't want to get my butt whooped. And so the easy way for a kid that's not used to having physical altercation is to grab a gun. And
Where are they getting them?
That's a great question. If any of our listeners know, we'd love to hear those tips.
Yeah, you guys don't. Is it car break-in? I know there's a lot safely store your guns. So.
That's a big deal. A car is not a safe. I tell people if you have anything in your car that you want, you better take it in at night because it's going to disappear. It's not a safe. They can get into your car really easy. We do get a lot of guns stolen out of vehicles. That is a major issue. We're in Texas. Everybody loves their guns and our freedom. Unfortunately, family members or they may be at a party with somebody that they know whose parents have guns, and they can grab them there. It's kind of a free market. They'll go anywhere at any time and get them. They're not being sold out of stores. They're not selling guns to kids. They're getting them through criminal activity. And or taking them from people that they know, either family members or other friends. And
know about them,
And the unfortunate truth is we have a small part of our population that's okay with that.
Is the move to homicide in what initiated that?
The restructuring of our department is kind of what brought this on. Homicide is a unit that I want to be a part of for a while. During my break times through the school at Emerald High, Christmas and spring breaks in the summers, I was able to do rotations in homicide. That desire actually came about before working with gangs. So that was an area that I knew that I wanted to go work in. And so through the new structure, that opportunity came before I thought it would come. And so, God opened the door. He wants me to be challenged. And so I'm trying to step up and move into that right direction. And so I was fortunate enough to get a spot in homicide, and I'm looking forward to doing that type of work and pouring something else in that I haven't been able to focus on.
So is that like when there is a homicide, you respond to the scene and then continue the detective work around that?
Absolutely. So, of course, in a general homicide, patrol gets called out. They secure the scene. Then we come in. The detectives will come in along with CSI, and we'll start processing the scene. We'll start talking to people, start trying to grab as much evidence or knowledge of evidence that's out there, whether it be from witnesses or video or ring cameras or whatever it may be. And then that parlays into hopefully developing a suspect quickly, then you start interviewing people and talking to people and bringing them in and out, and then that rolls into the detective portion of it, whereas you're just trying to put all that information together in a presentable fashion to be able to present a case to the grand jury.
Yeah.
And so there's the hot call where you're out there at whatever time it is, and you're working and trying to figure out as much logistically as you can, and with your workmates, and then you get back to the office and then start putting all the pieces of the puzzle together to try and figure out who did what, where, when, and how. So it's definitely going to be a challenge, but it's a challenge that I'm ready for and excited to be able to serve our community in a different light.
So how many cumulative years of law enforcement experience do you have at this point?
13.
13. What do you think people get wrong about police officers?
I believe that with the social media influence that we have today, a lot of negative media, that we're not human beings, that we're just people out there, and that we're rude, mean, and aggressive. But the reality is that we're husbands and mothers, and we have our children, we have grandparents, and we have nieces and nephews. And a lot of us are involved in activities outside the police department, whether it be working in a church or with youth groups, and that we grew up just like you guys grew up.
Yeah.
You know, we got friends in town just like you've got friends in town, and we like to enjoy life. We like to go out and hunt and fish and go to church, and we like to be with our friends and our family, and we're just normal people.
People that have a job.
That have a job.
A remarkable one, but a job indeed. What is the best part of your job? What is like the best when you go home and say, like, I am so thankful I am a police officer today?
You know, I think really the look of pride in my wife and my boys' eyes, that they're proud of me. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think being able to serve our community in this fashion is definitely a calling. And I'm thankful that I listen to the calling. Being an integral part of our society, it's easy to help people when they don't need help. It's really hard to help people when they don't want help. And sometimes people need help that don't know they need help, and that's why we're there. And being able to know that you are trying to get justice for a victim and trying to help somebody get their life together, that's situational. They're in a bad situation, they've committed a crime, and hopefully being that person that can be a voice of wisdom and reason. And having, as I said before, it's like the payback I get is 5, 10, 15 years down the road when we run into each other and I had to put you in jail, but now you're doing great. That's an ultimate reward.
I would love to tell you about Ingenic Dental Studio here in town. Dr. Jake Motery is my family's dentist, and he and his staff give us just the best family dental experience. But his practice and expertise go so much further than my kids' cavities and my routine cleanings. Dr. Motery specializes in cosmetic and implant dentistry. I've seen some of the work he's done, and it is just gorgeous. It's nothing over the top, very natural looking, but with results that really change a person's whole look. So if you're looking for family or personal dental care, or for a more aesthetically enhancing experience, check out Ingenic Dental Studio online or at their location on Georgia next to Market Street and Steak Express. I am back with Officer Adams. This is the part of the show we call 8 Straight. You ready for him?
I am. Let's go.
When you think of Amarillo 10 years from now, what do you hope for?
You know, I really hope for some continued economic growth. Traveling around to cities of our size and status and seeing the growth going on there, I'd really like to see more economic development be put into our community, and just really growing Amarillo in a very positive way with good jobs that it's going to feed back to our school system and to our kids.
Yeah. When was the last time you went to Paladero Canyon?
It's probably about a year and a half ago. My wife and I took our boys down. We went down. We hiked out to the Lighthouse Trail. Perfect little hot day in the canyon. I think the unfortunate part is when you live in Amarillo, you don't utilize the canyon near as much as you should. And it's such a beautiful, serene, peaceful place to be, especially with your family.
It is. Other than wind, what does this area have too much of?
Oh, our diversity in seasons that happen every other day. I would really like to see true seasons happen, like go into fall and enjoy the leaves falling just once, not at random times at the appropriate time, and then getting cold and then slowly warming back up. I think a natural season would be nice.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
That's a good one. And what do we not have enough of?
Oh, what do we not have enough of? We definitely don't have enough rain. And I know we were talking about seasons, but we definitely don't have enough rain. We also don't think we have enough sports venues for children. Good playground equipment, good school park, city parks, maintained. I think that's something that has been addressed, and I'd like to see that economic growth turn into something that's improving our outdoor life right here in the city.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to see some reinvestment into our old schools and our old parks, and making them fun and enjoyable instead of dirt.
Well, and I'm sure that your experience is that a lot of our park spaces are used for criminal activity.
Unfortunately, definitely are.
Yeah.
It's an easy local nexus.
Yeah.
It's an easy common area out in public where criminal activity can occur. And I think
sometimes not well lit.
Lit. And I think if the public had a aesthetically pleasing park to go to that was updated and current, I think more families would come to it, which I think would help push out whatever nefarious activities are happening. So it has a dual benefit.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. What's your favorite local building?
My favorite local building is the Cobble Building down off of 7th and Taylor.
What the Cobble Building? Which one is this?
So it's the Amarillo National Bank owns it now. It's right across the street from Napoli's.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. I'm with you. Nice. Yes, that is a beautiful building.
The Cobble Building, I think, was built in 1910, 1912. Aesthetically, I still love architecture, just because I was in construction. It's just kind of what I do. But the architecture of that building, being as old as it is, I think is still beautiful today. It seems to be a really well-built building that's been super functional for many years. And it's probably, architecturally wise, it's probably one of my favorite buildings in town.
Nice. I'll have to go take another look at it. That's a unique answer. Thank you.
You bet.
And favorite local restaurant?
I was afraid you're going to ask me about restaurants, and I don't know that I can pick just one restaurant.
That's okay.
And,
I can't either.
Yes. So I've got some top favorites, and I'm not going to put them in order of how much I like them, just because I don't want to offend anybody.
Very diplomatic.
Yep. But OHMS is one of our tried and trues that we absolutely enjoy going. We love the atmosphere. We love the food. Yellow City is definitely one of our tops. I love the diversity in their menu. I love what they bring to the menu, and the staff and the owners there, they've been great to us. And our boys love it. We love it. We drop into pizza, and got a shout out to 575 because I think they're pretty top notch. Fire Slice does a great job, and there's some others out there that are really good.
Amarillo has some great local restaurants.
They do.
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you've got 4 hours to spend in Amarillo with someone who's never been here. What are you doing?
So I'm hoping they're not real hungry, but if they are, we're going to stop and get a quick bite, and then we're on the run. But I definitely think we need to hit Paladar Canyon.
Yeah.
It's just too beautiful not to go see. And unfortunately, if this is your first time here, we're going to have to do the touristy things. We're going to have to take you out to Cadillac Ranch, and you got to get some spray paint. They got a cool little boutique shop at Cadillac RV. It's got great Texas memorabilia inside. So I think those, if you're going to be here for this long and not coming back, you've got to get some souvenirs. And of course, you got to stop by the Big Texan as well.
Nice. That sounds like a very Amarillo day.
That's about as Amarillo as it gets.
There you go.
We'll throw in a lot of heat and wind for you.
Yes, certainly this time of year. Finally, Matt, what do you think people get wrong about our city?
Talking to people that have flown into Amarillo for the first time, their biggest concern is like the lack of trees. And it's like, we've got tons of trees. You're just looking in the wrong spot. I go, but once you get inside the city, you'll see all of the trees that we have. And so I think that they believe that, we're just some little podunk city up in the top of Texas. And when they get here and they get around the people, that they really fall in love with the people here in town, the community that we have. And just kind of, it's a very welcoming town for somebody that's never been here before.
Yeah.
And the beauty is not just seeing the great pasture land in a dry town like we have, but it's actually, it's more beautiful the longer you spend in town. So I think that's one of the major things that people get wrong.
Finally, I like to offer my guests the opportunity to endorse something. What would you endorse?
Something that's close to our heart is Amarillo Children's Home. So big shout out to them, because great organization, doing great work with some at-risk youth. And they're a top-notch organization, which, I think we've kind of got a theme here with kids and parks and stuff. But Outdoor Amarillo, really want to see the ability that they have to get people motivated into redeveloping our parks. I love the mission as well. I think that our investment in our community comes from our youth. The older we get, we forget our youthful days. And I like to provide an opportunity for these kids to have the same youth that we had, that was full of outdoor activities and being out riding their bikes with their friends and being in a safe environment, and just being able to go and explore and enjoy. And, so Outdoor Amarillo gets a big prop. That's
Nice.
something I truly endorse, along with the Children's Home.
Thank you. Well, Officer Adams, this week, not whenever this airs, but this week is Law Enforcement Officer Appreciation Week. And I am very thankful to have been able to spend some time understanding better what a human that is a law enforcement officer is like.
Well, Skylar, I want to thank you for having me. I love the fact that it worked out on Law Enforcement Week as well.
Yeah.
And very gracious and thankful to be here, and thankful for the opportunity to sit down and speak with you.
Thanks for the time. And that concludes the episode. Thanks to Officer Adams for the interview. Thank you to Venture Capital and Ingenic Dental Studio for supporting the podcast, and to Broderick Adams for editing every week. Jim and Barbara Whitten are executive producers on this episode. And thank you for listening. This has been episode 451 of Hey Amarillo. I am Skylar Gallup, and we hope you'll listen next week.